Good afternoon and welcome to Review with a Brew. Rather interesting heritage model. This is the S2000. Now the concept for this first appeared in 1995. And it started life as the Honda Sports study model and it was unveiled in Tokyo. And this is what transpired. Before I start whittering on too much, today's blend is breakfast tea. No change there then. There were two generations of the car, 1999 to 2004 and 2004 to 2009. Also in 2009 they released the 100 edition. The S2000 was Honda's 50th birthday present to themselves, so they wanted something special, and that meant developed by F1 engineers, impeccable safety as a sports car. If you want to know how good this car is, you can either get behind the wheel or you can just read any of the press articles at the time. Everybody raved about it. It was fantastic. It was such a fitting celebration of their 50th anniversary. It looked the part, it performed like a rocket, and it handled like it was on rails. Yet it was a convertible, which, as you all know, when you drive a convertible, there's a serious element of flex to it. Even with reinforced bars and all types of strut braces and all types of things, you can still feel the flex, and I suppose that's the kind of thing you like. But with this, there's a bit of flex, which is just enough to give it something completely different, because the rigidity is unbelievable. But the other thing is, it doesn't affect the ride. Yes, it's not like travelling around in the C124, but it is exceptionally good. And it is so hard to unhinge it. To be honest, I've not managed it, and I have tried. The S2000 turns heads wherever it goes, and it's not surprising. It's fully colour-coded with the mirrors and the bumpers, and also you've got this massive air dam. Now yes, you've got no adaptive cruise control, you've got no LED lights. They're not even automatic lights. But does that really matter? Styling wise, well, these are LED, and they're very, I suppose, JDM of the time. Circular lamps all encased as well. And they do give it an aggressive look from the rear, especially with twin oval chrome tailpipes. Front and rear discs all round. These are also vented. In one of the later generations, they even enhanced the suspension by adding double wishbones. Under the bonnet, you've got a 2-litre VTEC double overhead cam, so naturally aspirated. No turbochargers here. The one thing that gets me about this car is the length of the bonnet. I think it's pretty much the longest part of the vehicle, including the cabin to the boot. It reminds me of an SLR McLaren, its proportions. And that's not a bad thing. Power 240 brake, and torque Newton meters 208. 0 to 60 in about 6.2 seconds. Top speed of 150 miles per hour. Combined, they say 28.2. I'm probably closer to 20, but we do know I have a lead foot. It had to have the most up-to-date safety, and it also had to be a convertible. Now when you tick all these boxes, you think, actually, we need to really look at safety. And there wasn't actually anything out there at the time, so Honda went, we know how to fix this, we'll build our own safety test centre. And that's where this car became so special. It features an X-bone frame chassis. It creates an open-bodied structure. It's rigid and has passenger crash protection as well. Qualities of a closed-body structure, to be honest. Double-walled, steel pipe reinforced tubular front pillars and highly rigid roll bars. Twin door beams, rollover protection, rollover bars, side impact protection beams, driver and passenger airbags, anti-lock brakes, electronic brake force distribution, emergency brake assist, vehicle stability assist, traction control. It's got the classic wedge shape. Now it's not changed much through the generations. I wouldn't even call it a facelift, to be honest. Had some tweaks to the lights and some of the styling, but that's about it. As I mentioned, this is an edition 100 as well, meaning if we look at the kick plate, it'll actually have car number. S2000 Honda, manufactured Honda Motor Company, and this is number 36. Extras on the Edition 100 were a black badge, red stitching, a unique gear knob, and the 17-inch graphite alloy wheels. You've just got to love that number plate, S2000 UK, and this is in Grand Prix white. Now the first thing I thought was, uh-oh, we're going to have a Heritage S2000. That's going to be worth a pretty penny and probably not like rain and be quite easy to unsettle. Nope, completely wrong. You could literally throw this into a roundabout and it'll just corner. For some reason it just grips. It's so responsive. Also, it will rev to 9,000. It's not the lowest car, which is pretty good to be honest. Also, the doors don't open that wide either, but that seems to be fine too. Headroom was the other thing that made me think, uh-oh. But I have absolutely nothing to worry about. I've got about 2 inches above my head. Also legroom, you're just about right at 6'3". So you turn the key. Why is it not firing? Well, we have an engine start button. Unleash the horses. On a cold start, this sounds immense. I have warmed it up. And the thing is, other people actually add mods as well, left, right and centre. Everything from exhausts to tuning parts. I'll turn it off while we carry on our chat. It reminds me a bit of the NSX, the way this swoops around here. And this is all soft touch plastic as well. Yeah, there's hard plastics in here, but I don't think you really care, to be honest. It would have been nice to have an adjustable steering wheel, but it's actually positioned in the perfect place. And when you're in it, you do feel very low slung, as in you would in a sports car. Electric mirrors in the centre, old school handbrake, and S2000 on here as well. RDS radio. I've seen one of them for some time. It's actually got a CD player. You have a power hood. Push the buttons in on each of these. Now the best way is to make sure it's actually like that, because they do tend to drop forward, so if you're not careful it will rehook itself. The roof is nice and easy to operate. Literally push that forwards or push that backwards. It's quite a quick hood too. The other thing about this is I'm low enough in the seat that my head doesn't stick out the top. In Mum's 206cc I've lost baseball caps before. It's not great. And you might think, oh, I could only drive that for a few miles. So we thought we'd put it to the test, and we took it to the motorist, to the Hubnut Social, which happened to be an elite JDM meet as well. You can imagine the reception this car got. Saying that, it was quite amazing how many of the Hubnutters loved this. Because it's rear wheel drive, you've got this massive transmission tunnel, but that encompasses you, and you do feel like you're in a racing car. And many of the people I've spoken to have said this is arguably the best convertible ever. But it's not surprising, it was their 50th birthday present to themselves. It had to be good. And it is. Now in each generation things change. For example, you ended up with LED taillights. You always got high intensity discharge headlamps, and they are pretty good. It's just so well done in here. Everything's angled to the driver as well, so believe it or not, I've got the air conditioning controls, whereas the passenger just has a nice smooth area with one vent and airbags. Nice clunky buttons to push up and some rotary dials as well. And a digital cluster. We stuck an extra 35 quid in it, but it really didn't matter. Just to listen to that symphony of sound was just exhilarating. And when you change gear between 7 and 9,000 next to something, the reverb is unbelievable. On the right hand side you can also control your stereo system. The other thing is it's got auxiliary, but can I find a jack? Nope. So now, this is where the challenge comes in. It's easy enough to put the roof down, but putting the roof back up ended up getting absolutely soaked on the way back. As far as I could see, I'm doing everything correctly, but there's obviously something I'm not doing that I'm not realizing. For example, not applying the handbrake, not making sure it's in neutral, making sure the key's off, making sure the engine's not running. or maybe not shutting the door, or having the sandwich in a certain place on the dash. I honestly don't know what it is. And then all of a sudden, it started working again. To this day, I still have no clue what I did to make the roof go up. Mind you, that's a classic sports car for you. There's fun in that kind of thing. I mean, the other thing about this car as well, when motorbikes see it, they really acknowledge it. You get more respect from the bikers than you do from the JDM community. And the JDM community are pretty friendly. Red leather. They're not the thickest, but they support you well. They're very comfortable, and also you've got red stitching. Now the first thing you think of, I'm going to release the petrol car. I've got a Civic, it's going to be down here. No. Okay, it's not here. No. It's not there. No. And it's not on the door card. No. Do I just push it outside? No. It's here. And literally it says fuel on it. But if you don't know where it is, you'll never find it. And you just literally, and it goes clunk. The door cards are nicely finished. It's all soft as well. It feels very similar to the Civic, to be honest. Yeah, door pocket's pretty much non-existent, but I do like this. Electronic mirrors, and they are heated, but weirdly the heated mirror switch is in the centre next to the hazards. Sound system, it's a convertible. You obviously can't hear a damn thing. Well, that's where you're wrong. There's speakers actually in this bit. What made this car extra special was 50-50 weight distribution, aluminium panels, even a limited slip differential, so you could get that power down. And it works. Now the one thing you think about with two-seater sports cars is the boot. With my little cabriolet, and that was just a little GTI, hardly what you'd call a sports car. And that wasn't the biggest boot, whereas this, for a start you can open it with the key fob, or you can lean inside your little cubby hole and press this. Nice touch. Also you have this. It's a decent boot, it really is. Even got this sunken section as well. Our jump starter pack, always handy to take on an adventure. This is the perfect car for pottering through villages. But if the mood does take you, you've got 240 PS under your foot. More brake horsepower. Anyway, it's some silly number for a two-seater sports car with aluminium panels. But that ensures exhilaration pretty much constantly, especially between 7,000 and 9,000 revs. Quick demonstration of power. So we're in second gear now, national speed limit sign, 4.5. What a sound! And the brakes are just unbelievable. After driving this, we now want an S2000. Don't we, Annabelle?
We certainly do.